Good evening, welcome to Here and Now. Today we feature a special UK edition. Reuters International reports that British Prime Minister David Cameron creates new security jobs. The latest addition to Prime Minister David Cameron's team of secret agents is a 4-year-old tabby cat named Larry, who has been appointed to the job of ratting. Rescued from the Battersea Dogs and Cats home, Larry's job at number 10 Downing Street will consist of battling mice at the Prime Minister's residence. Larry the cat is said to have a very strong predatory drive. From thetelegraph.com, the Governor of the Bank of England says the UK is in deep recession. This news came as no surprise to the British population. The United Kingdom is now in recession after the banking system came closer to collapse than at any time since the beginning of the First World War, according to the Governor of the Bank of England. But there is a sunny side to every situation. Today is a day of joy for Britain's pedophiles. In a shameful surrender, David Cameron's government is letting them ask to be taken off the National Sex Offenders Register to protect their human rights. Government officials say they have to accept a ruling by the Supreme Court which states that keeping sex offenders on the register for life breaks the European Convention on Human Rights. The World Cup ended in a mixture of humiliation and controversy for England. England paid the price for their sloppy performance against soccer giant Germany, with central defenders John Terry and Upson having their immobility exposed in an embarrassing fashion. Wayne Rooney will return home having had minimal impact on the World Cup, and Capello himself must examine how England can move forward after being handed this painful lesson by the Germans. More news. Mexico presents a new sports car. During the British Motor Show, Mexico presented its first sports car. Daniel and Carlos MASTRETTA designed and developed the MASTRETTA MXT at Tecno Idea, a transportation and design company based in Mexico City with more than 20 years of experience in the field of specialized vehicle design. The MXT interior provides a sports car feel, but is warm, modern, and surprisingly spacious, which when it comes to sports cars is a real luxury. It offers good visibility and ergonomics, which are essential for comfort and performance. Its powerful turbocharged 2.0 engine allows the MXT to accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 4.9 seconds. This acceleration is harnessed by a finely tuned chassis, allowing the vehicle to develop more than 1.1 G of cornering and braking force. The MASTRETTA MXT is equipped with the latest technological amenities, including a multimedia system featuring GPS, Bluetooth, and iPod connectivity. While the car is performance-oriented, drivers enjoy a high level of comfort due to its lightweight construction. After the MASTRETTA's introduction to the British Motor Show, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May, hosts of the British TV program Top Gear, called the MASTRETTA the Tortilla, branding it as a lazy, feckless, and flatulent car, and compared it to Mexican people in a vicious and uncalled-for attack. Perhaps the worst statement made was, "How do you feel waking up every morning knowing you are a Mexican?" They concluded their comic act by saying, "Mexicans won't complain. The Mexican ambassador is probably asleep too." British newspaper thedailymail.com published an article in which comedian Steve Coogan attacks Top Gear's presenters following the fallout over their attack on Mexico, calling them funny as cold sweat and people who are more tragic than comic. Mr. Coogan called Jeremy Clarkson a bully and accuses co-hosts Richard Hammond and James May of being his pathetic supporters. There are rumors that after the introduction of the MASTRETTA to the British Motor Show, the hosts of Top Gear commissioned the new sports car. British design teams have begun to work on what they call Britain's finest response to the MASTRETTA, and plan to present it next year during the British Motor Show. The hosts of Top Gear wanted a song to be performed during the presentation of their new car, but since they could not afford Lady Gaga, they have commissioned Britain's own Gary Glitter to perform the song. We were able to obtain pictures of the new prototype car, which has proudly been named the Spotted Dick in honor of one of Britain's finest dishes. The Spotted Dick also goes by the name Austin Allegro. But there are already negative rumors surrounding the Spotted Dick. According to a recent survey conducted by iMotorMag.com, the Austin Allegro has been described as the worst car ever produced in the British assembly lines. The survey concluded that 1 in every 4 Brits regard the Austin Allegro as a national embarrassment and as the worst car ever made. Frequently called the all-aggro, where aggro means aggravation, the Spotted Dick fails to meet the comfort and safety expectations of consumers with major development and design flaws. Our viewers' opinion is very important to us. After the vicious attacks on the MASTRETTA and Mexico as a nation, we asked our viewers to give us their opinion. We asked the question, is the UK a perfect supernation? And here's what we found. The UK has one of the worst weathers of the planet. A few inches of snow bring the entire country to a complete standstill, and in the summer every house is an oven. But most of all, bad weather has a terrible impact in the human body. According to AskMen.com, there are terrible physiological and psychological effects related to bad weather. That perhaps explains hooliganism and the pathetic British humor. Our viewers concluded, a handful of good weather days a year is simply not enough time to cultivate a positive attitude. More than half of the UK population believe they live in a racist society. According to a major survey commissioned by BBC News Online, 1 in every 5 citizens have experienced racism in one form or another. The opinion poll also found that 44% of those asked believe immigration has damaged Britain over the last 50 years. The ICM study shows that racism in the workplace is a major problem. 1 in every 3 blacks and Asians in the UK believe that racism has cost them the chance of a good job. Fact number 3. According to the TitanicAwards.com and the Jetpacker.com, the United Kingdom has the worst cuisine on the planet. If you didn't see this coming, you might be legally blind. Our viewers say it's like a crime scene on a plate. From the unappetizing names to the horrible ingredients, British food is simply terrible. It's not just tasteless and scary, but it's also confusing. They have a dish called pudding that in no way, shape or form resembles pudding. Compared to other foods such as Italian, Chinese or Mexican, which are rich in ingredients and flavors, good British food is practically non-existent. Our viewers concluded, while getting some takeaway, why not take away some of these awful foods from the English cooking repertoire? Fact number 4. It's raining teeth. It is often referred to as the English disease. According to MSNBC.com, wherever English soccer fans went, violence went. During the Euro 2000 championships, an exchange of insults between England supporters and locals turned into a full-scale riot. Cameras captured the battleground of flying fists, bottles, cans, and furniture countered by riot police and armored vehicles firing water cannons at the British hooligans. Commentator Hugo Young of the Guardian newspaper said, the English were experts in drunken violence, racist aggression, headbanging nationalism, and serial thuggery. Hundreds of hooligans were arrested and processed before being deported back to England. Fact number 5. Olympic alcoholic consumption. According to AskMen.com and other statistics presented by Forbes magazine, the UK ranks as number 3 in the international list of countries with more drunks per capita. Because England is the land of notorious hard drinkers, alcohol-related casualties have been rising steadily over the past 10 years, with liver cirrhosis always as a number 1 disease. The UK has a new 24-hour law that facilitates all-day consumption. Alcoholics across the land will now be able to spend all day and night stuck to the bottle, hopefully taking England to the number 1 international drinking position. Let's face it, the list could be endless. Do you get our point? The recent attacks on Mexico carried out by the illiterate hosts of Top Gear show a real lack of character and professionalism. Let me say, Mr. Hammond, that you don't have it in you to be a good TV host. Your actions show a complete lack of judgment and poor character as a media person. In other words, you are an embarrassment. All of you. Did you really think that Mexican people would not say anything? Boy, do we have news for you. After your ignorant and unfunny comments were condemned by the entire media world, we all have to wonder, what must it feel like waking up every morning knowing you are you? I want to speak in behalf of the people of Mexico. We are not hooligans. We don't attack people to get attention. These comments were vicious and ignorant attacks. The UK is far from being an ideal nation, as all of you can see. While in the eyes of most nations, Mexico is a peace-loving country and its people are warm and friendly individuals. Does Mexico have problems? Of course it does. But so does the rest of the world at one level or another. But the point here is that ignorant and witless people like these men tell the world that as humans, we still have a lot to learn. Time out! The producers of this show would like to remind Mr. Clarkson and his cronies to tune in tomorrow. Our broadcast starts at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for today. We thank you very much for watching. Good night.